musical, People and Journey, are coming to you live from South Wales. Well, we're not really in South Wales, but we are talking to this amazing new up-and-coming band, Edit the Tide, from South Wales. Welcome to the show to Ben and to Rudy. Hi, guys.
Yo, thanks for having us.
What's happening? What's happening? Now, for people who do not know where you're from, which is in Bridgend, which is in South Wales, I'm going to just put a bit of poetry here, a bit of poetic visualization, because to the north of Bridgend, you have the beautiful rolling countryside, the hills that start to blend, that then lead up to the Rhondda Valleys, to the Brecon Beacons. To the south, you have the most amazing beaches, the Buthcall and all around there, which are absolutely glorious. To the east, the cities, the monstrous of cities of Cardiff. And then to the west, you have Port Talbot Steelworks. And Bridgend is almost kind of sat right in the middle of four different kind of worlds, really. And you can kind of bring that into Bridgend. Now, I'm going to throw it out there to say that maybe pretty much encapsulates your music, chaps, because you have a little bit of everything in the EP that we kind of listened to as well. What would you say to that grandiose introduction?
Yeah, I would most definitely agree with you. I'm sure Rudy would as well. There's a lot of influences, and I think that comes from a lot of different characters and different tastes amongst the band, and different personalities. So we're all quite eclectic musos, and me and Rudy probably more so than anyone. Probably Rudy the most, I would say. Rudy is super eclectic. Rudy is. But he loves a musical debate. But no, yeah, we definitely have got a lot of influences in there. Yeah.
How would you? I mean, your website is very, very grandiose in terms of the description, which I thought you'd like that. I mean, in a nutshell, though, how? Look, you're a heavy metal band, but you're a bit more than that. How would you encapsulate your voice, your music?
I personally, I don't know if Rudy, if you agree with it, I wouldn't call us heavy metal. I mean, there's elements of it, but I wouldn't say heavy metal.
There's bands who fall into that category who I'd say are a lot softer than us as well, I suppose. That's the whole point, is like you said before, it's about having that mix. And as Ben knows, I look for the weird twist, the little sort of spice in a chord or a melody or or an off-time drum beat or whatever it may be. That's where I get my kicks out of. It's something you don't quite expect. And I always like to sort of shock ourselves, and that's mostly what I listen to. It's something, if I hear something I didn't expect it, that's what grabs my attention, and that's what I like to hear in our music as well.
Yeah, Rudy. I think Rudy, you like making something that sounds completely wrong sound right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Story of my life. Yeah. Story of my life.
Yeah, which like you said, could be anything. Could be a chord or note or things of such. But yeah.
Would you say you're more melodic?
Yeah, we're quite heavy on melodies. Like obviously a lot of. Funny enough, I grew up listening to Rudy and Rudy's earlier bands and stuff like that. So Rudy's like a family friend and whatnot, and I grew up listening to his earlier band, the Silence Falls and whatever. So my early influences of music and watching it live is all sort of interpreted from that, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose my influences are like very heavy on the melodies, because I've always listened to a lot of Incubus, and I like big vocal lines and Lex on Fire, Dallas Green and whatnot, so on and so forth. So I try my best, and I love my harmonies as well. I love harmonies. So yeah.
Yeah, I suppose heavy metal. I would say you're a melodic heavy rock band.
Yeah.
In you know, I mean, we listen to. Well, you know, we listen to God. You know, me and Trish listen to 12, 16 new albums, and the group as entire we review 16 albums or 12, 16 albums a month. So we've kind of started to kind of zone in on some of the things that we kind of like, and there are. We were just listening now this month to the new Tremonti album, which is very heavy and almost kind of dark melodic kind of heavy tunes with. And I liken it to things like White Raven Down and stuff, and it's just not, for me, it's fantastic, but there's not enough melodies in there. Whereas with your music, you don't go down that too heavy melodic, because you've got a lot more lighter melodies. And the analogy that I give about the different types of landscapes around you generally does. That's how I feel with your music. You can get, sometimes you can go a bit heavy as if you're going down to the steelworks, and then suddenly be up in the mountains or down by the beach. You do capture a lot of melodies and tunes, and seems to mix well together.
I think it's really important to me as a listener personally. If I'm listening to music, like, I need melody, because I love heavy music, love it, and I can sit there and listen to the breakdowns and stuff all day, and screaming all day. And I personally really appreciate screaming and whatever, being a vocalist, and more so than probably most. But I think it's really important to like have a hook and a melody for people to sing along to. And like the majority, the general listener always remembers when they were walking around in work all day, they're singing the melody, and then nobody's singing really the screaming part, or the guitar, or the downstrokes on the open notes on a guitar. Like, do you know what I mean? It's the breakdown. It's always the chorus and the melody and the hook. So I personally need that. I need that from a song for it to keep me interested for a long period of time.
So the band came together, I think it was in 23, so post-COVID that you came together. So tell me the story. How did you say that Rudy's been a bit of an inspiration for you then? So how did the band come to formation?
Go
on, Rudy.
I was 35 as of last month in December, and so Rob is Ben's uncle. But when I was 15, I joined a band that Rob was sort of part of then. So I've sort of been on and off in bands with Rob for 20 years now. So we were called As Silence Falls, and we had an EP and things like that. Went on a sort of UK tour, and then various things happen. Life happens. People leave, people join, and what have you. And I sort of stopped playing for probably not far off 10 years, I guess, maybe 8 years. And then sort of out of the blue, I think it was Rob messaged me saying, do you want to start sort of jamming again? And that was 5 years ago, maybe, I think. I think it was Gav was telling me it was 5 years ago that there's a song called Will of Fate was first written. And so from there, sort of, we started writing again. In a little church hall not far from Bridgend, and then eventually Dave joined, and then Ben joined. Yeah, so that was probably 2 years ago. Was it 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, I think I joined because I actually originally joined, and then when we were jamming, I was playing bass when I started off playing bass, and then I don't know.
I can't picture you with a bass in your hand now.
No, I know. Yeah, it's really strange. I started off on bass, and then we were struggling to find a singer, as I think that is quite a common thing in this game, is singers seem to be a little bit. And yeah, I just somehow fell into the role of being the vocalist for the band, and it's sort of stemmed from there. And it's been a very interesting journey so far, because I've never been a singer. I've always sort of maybe been able to hold a note, but I didn't know how to sing. Do you know what I mean? So I just sort of started from there, and it's been a really enjoyable but massive learning experience.
So you've only been singing for 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Listen, I'm telling you now, Rob, we have listened to, sorry Ben, we have listened to, since we've started this podcast, we've listened to 500 albums, okay? And I've gone more down towards the female rock vocalist because too many male vocalists out there just go, it's very pedestrian. It's like A, B, C, D. Oh, look, I can hit a high note. I can hit this note. And I get a bit bored of it. And I tell you something now, honestly, and I'm not saying it because you're my wife's brother, from another mother, but you have got an absolutely stonking vocal. You really do. You can.
Thank you.
You can. It's almost you've got a brilliant, powerful voice that's got a lot of variation in it, but you don't just like do a high screaming note just for the sake of it either. So I was really impressed, and I'm not easily impressed these days by male vocalists, if I'm honest. So, but there we go. So
no, you did teams me when I'd sent you the link to the EP, didn't you? And you were like, "Hey, I'm really liking these."
I do.
No, thank you very much.
Very much in my sweet spot. I got a lot. I'm a bit like Rudy, and I got quite an eclectic taste. But there are certain sweet spots in my rock genres that I like, and you certainly hit my sweet spot in that way. So it's a lovely surprise. Okay, so you've obviously been going 2 years. You've been doing a lot of local gigs, and you were supposed to be supporting a band that Trish was going to watch, but that didn't quite happen. So where are you, do you think, in terms of your journey? Because putting an EP out, and I've got to be honest, of the quality that I've just heard, excites me. I can't wait for an album to come out. What's the journey ahead looking like? Hopefully, you say you're going to try and get a lot more gigs in out of South Wales, but I imagine to date it's been a lot of South Wales or in Wales that you've been gigging. Is that right?
Yeah. It's mainly, only been South Wales as of yet. So that's why I think we're all itching now to sort of just
branch out,
push the boat out and branch out a bit.
And do you have a record deal, or you're not signed to a record company just yet?
No, nothing like that as of yet. Maybe one day, who knows? But as it stands, we just sort of I suppose we're.
Working on we're probably halfway through the next EP, back in the studio is it next month? It's February, isn't it?
Well, look, make it 7 tracks and you're qualified for our album review. Because if it's 5, we don't do 5. It has to be more than 5. So if 6 or 7 tracks, then we'll include you in our review show. So make sure you get a bit more, right, please? So thank you. I think you'll do well. Okay, so in terms of who writes, then who does? Do you write the music and then the lyrics, or do you do the lyrics and then the music? How does the band work together on that?
There's no real sort of massive structure to how we write. Like, there's no methodology to it. I'm not one of these block writers myself. I just sort of sit down one night with my acoustic and I'll start strumming some chords, and I am very big on my lyrics. So my phone is there's just thousands of phrases and just things I've stolen from places and words, and I'm always thinking about stuff like lyrics and stuff like that, and I'm quite a intrinsic person, I suppose. I'm always thinking about that kind of stuff. But no, we're all a collective really with the writing.
The general writing process is most of the time tends to just be sort of organic. An idea will come out, or if we've had sort of half a song, and it's usually. I always tend to find that when Rob writes in practice, he sort of pressures himself, if he's coming up with an idea, to follow on from something, and that's usually always better than when he spends ages, maybe, or hours in the house thinking of what to write, which is strange.
Yeah. It always seems to again, the word organic. It's just when you just go to the studio. I can't it doesn't come out as naturally for me if I just sit down and I'm like, right, I'm gonna write the song now. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be provoked by something for me. Do you know what I mean? I might be having a really good day, I might be having a really shit day or something, and it'll just give me an idea. I don't know, this how these things happen. That's just creativity, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, without sounding cheesy, but
it could come from anywhere, as you say, a phrase or a beat. I could be messing around, and all of a sudden, Dave might play a bass sort of, a bass lick along to what I'm playing, and a riff will come out, and then you'll have a verse maybe, and then some, it'll get added to, and eventually becomes a song. I guess they're usually the more fun ones that tend to find.
We've got like a dedicated group chat just for our ideas and stuff like that, and there's so many. Like at the minute, we've had to like put it aside and be like, right, let's just work on what we've got to finish. And just because there's just endless, like you can keep throwing ideas in, and you can just sort of drown in them, So at the moment, it's just focusing on what we've got in front of us for the EP, and then
album.
Album. I'll run it by the boys and see what they say.
EP brackets album.
Yeah. All right. It's got to be at
To
least
be fair,
6
Rob.
songs. Well, listen, it's very interesting actually. We there's a band called Lovebox. From Buffalo in New York, and they released they sent us their album to review but it was 6 tracks, okay, so and bearing in mind we listened to 155 albums last year and rated it got number 11 in our final top 20. That's how good it was. But our thing is, because we call it album review, we tend to go, right, if it's an EP, it's got to have at least 7 tracks. So Daughtry, for example, that they released their part 1 of their album and got top 5. But so please, 6 or above, and then we can review your album. Do it now.
We have probably got enough songs to pull that off as well. So we'll run it by the boys and see what they think.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Excellent. Right, now, the most important part of the show, it is Trish time! Because I'll get a WhatsApp saying, oi, move over. Trish, fire away your questions.
Hi. What are my questions? Okay. First of all, Edit the Tide, the band name, how did it come up?
So that name was originally a name I came up with after we were at Silence Falls. We were thinking of another band name. I can't remember why we wanted to change the band name. So this was probably back in 2010/11, and I liked the idea of palindromes. So I was searching online or random name generators, and then I think that name came up with something else, but then I sort of came up with the phrase Edit the Tide. And it became a song name, which is a song that me and Ben very desperately want to finish and sort of reimagine with this lineup. But then I put it forward as an idea for this band name, and it sort of passed the mark and became the band name. So, yeah.
Ooh.
It's a name from a decade ago, 15 years ago.
What is the best advice that you guys have been given as either a musician or as a band?
Progression over perfection for me.
What was that?
Progression over perfection for me at my stage in my where I am. Because you can get, because I personally can get absolutely lost in it all. Otherwise, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's a great phrase, actually, isn't it? I love that. It's quite cool.
Yeah. I'll stick with Ben's. I can't think of one, but I'll take Ben's, and that would be now my.
Okay.
I think I'm going to steal Ben's as well. I think I'm going to work tomorrow and right, everybody, it's all about progression, not perfection.
Yeah.
So there we go. So I like it.
My next question is sort of split in two. So, 1, what or who are your inspirations? And 2, what are your aspirations?
Go
on, Rude.
What are my inspirations? I'm assuming we're talking just musically. Well, yeah, musically must be. I like Dan Ford, drummer for Sixth, quite a lot. He, sort of for the time when they came out, he was doing a lot, which I suppose he would say he was influenced by a lot of the drummers, but that most other drummers weren't doing at the time. For me, anyway, from what I was listening to, he was probably one of my biggest influences that made me want to try to sound like I was doing things that were harder to sort of work out by ear, but I'm still nowhere near there, and I never will be. But as Ben said, progression over perfection. And I don't know, as a band, it's difficult. What do I aspire to? My dream has always been, I'd love to be, say, we were walking down Cardiff one day, or walking somewhere, say 50 miles away from where I live, whatever, and someone drives past and is blasting our album or one of our songs, and I have no idea who they are, kind of thing. That's always been one of my, I'd love that to happen to me one day, to just hear someone rocking out in their car while they were driving past, and it was our song. That's one of my sort of childhood dreams. Yeah.
Ben?
My biggest inspiration, probably it's always going to be the same answer for me. It's always going to be Dallas, probably Dallas Green, City in Colour, and Alexis on Fire. Just love the way the guy writes music, what he writes about, and you know how he presents it, and just what he's about as a musician, really. And he's going to be really hard to knock off the top. Maybe someone one day. I mean, my ambition maybe then would even be to, I think, maybe like go on like a European or a world tour. It'd be at least one tour, like, you know, do it like a proper tour, you know.
Yeah.
Not just of the UK. I think.
You don't you?
Say again.
You know who'll be first in the queue? Us two.
Yes, indeed. That would be amazing. But yeah, I suppose it would be that probably. Yeah, to be able to go away and like make what we do like just as long as it's self-sustaining, and just, you know, and it's always an enjoyment and not a what's the word, more a chore. Yeah, you know. Which I don't think it ever would be, because we all love music. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As long as you've got that in your soul, then that's going to project in your music.
Yeah.
Okay, my final question is, what would you like people to take away from your music? So what do you hope it gives them?
At this point in time, just for people to be like, that is absolutely class. At this point in time, that would be that's all I'm asked. That's all I would wish for at the moment. I think, you know, just for people to just really appreciate like a good song that we've written.
Yeah, in time, I think it's nice when you hear or if people were to say that they've noticed a progression then. So like with the next EP, I think there's going to be a noticeable progression in not only the melodies and the songwriting in general and the general sound of the song. I think it's going to be noticeable. So when it comes to, say, doing a 12-track album, we'll still obviously love those sort of earlier songs, but you'll see a notable sort of progression with the across.
Yeah, exactly that. And again, like I said, go on. Sorry.
I was just saying, back to you.
So, a couple of things that was said. So, Ben, Rob is your uncle.
Rob, the guitarist, is my uncle. Yes, one of the guitarists.
And Rudy is a friend of Rob's. So where does Gavin come in? Is he a family member or a friend, or how does?
No, so Rudy is actually almost like a family friend and a family member to me as well, because Rob is as a son with Rudy's sister. So we're all kind of like, yeah. We're all kind of like
choose your words.
Yeah.
Family connected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But Gav is again is a Bridgend boy, and Dave as well. I think all the boys were like Dave, Gav in bands when they were younger together. Dave and Rob were in college together, Rudy, weren't they? Yeah. They were they went back as far as college and two did, and then Dave moved away up to Stoke for a number of years. And then
he came back.
Yeah, couldn't. I think when he came back and him and Rob got back in touch and he started playing bass again.
So,
So
Ben,
yeah.
fair to say you're the baby of the band, is that right then?
I am, mate. Yeah, I'm 26, and yeah,
Baby.
I think there's a lot of jealousy from the older members, to be honest, too, sometimes.
So if I shaved this off, I'd think I was the youngest one.
Oh, of course,
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Rudy, Ben was saying that you probably have the most eclectic taste in the band. What does he mean by that? Do you kind of listen to, like, Taylor Swift or something as well? Is that what we...
Don't burn his ears
I-
by saying such a thing.
No, that hurts. That does. No, I'm sure she's a brilliant songwriter. No, I don't know. I wouldn't say I was the most, because everyone's got their guilty pleasures, isn't they?
Oh, yeah.
But I listen to a lot of classical music and jazz, and mainly for the reasons that I was sort of talking about earlier. I like to be sort of surprised, and jazz and classical music can do that with ease and make it as musical as it can be, I suppose.
I think if I may speak for you, Rudy, in this sense, I think Rudy really enjoys like musicians' music, if that makes sense to you. Does that make sense?
But there's a lot of people who would say that what I listen to is probably middle of the road in terms of what is true musicianship music, in terms of technicality and what have you. And my favourite band, and I will happily die on this hill, and I would argue to the hilt that they are the greatest band that have ever been. And Ben knows the answer, is Periphery.
Yeah.
Because, and I say that not because of all their individual talents, but you can tell that they write however they want to write, and there's not a care in the world for whatever they do. Their single off the last album was like, how long? 16 minutes long.
Reptile is 16.
And it's a musical triumph. You could do a full concert just on that one song. Yeah. So that's why I sort of appreciate them, because you can tell as well that they write to whatever they think sounds good. And I appreciate that. So,
hey, when I first started this through COVID and the blog, I decided to listen to the top 100 albums, no matter what they were. As long as they were a compilation or a Christmas album, I was going to listen to the 100 albums, the Amazon Music, of which one was Taylor Swift, which was the no crime, no drama, it was more country folk kind of album. And it's bloody brilliant. I mean, I'm not going for a pop stuff, but that album was absolutely fantastic. So it just goes to prove that you've got to open up the doors, because there's some stuff that, some of the albums, like. But then I revisited things like Fleetwood Mac was still in the top 100, and and I went, oh my god, I forgot how amazing this album. I haven't listened to the album for years. It's amazing. So I think there's guilty pleasures to be found. I think my taste is fairly eclectic. I have a wide range taste, and then I have sweet spots in my rock genres that I absolutely adore. So, but yeah, okay. Well, listen, it's been an absolute blast to reconnect to you guys, and from people from my neck of the woods. I think you've got, and I genuinely say this. Okay, I mean, I have to listen to about or try to go from 50 albums down to 12 or 16 per month, and I filter through one or two songs and oh my god, right, bin it. If I heard your EP, you would have honestly, genuinely made the cut. You would have made the cut. You would have that. If I was listening to one or two tracks off, bits off your EP, and it was an album, you would have definitely made the cut, because I listened to a lot of dross to get to like this, the final 16 albums that we're going to review that month. And I think you would have definitely made the cut. So I think you are a cut above a lot of stuff that's out there. And I really genuinely wish you all the very best, and we'll do whatever we can to support you guys. I think you've got real talent there, which is fantastic.
thank you very much.
So thank you very much to Edit the Tide. Thank you very much to Ben and to Rudy and the rest of the band. We do wish you all the very best. Thank you to Trish. And keep on rocking out there. And please like and subscribe to the show. Leave your comments. And check out Edit the Tide's EP. It is absolutely brilliant. Check them out on Amazon Music and Spotify. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, my rock friends. Goodbye for now. Cheerio. Keep on rocking. Bye-bye.